That's the smell of ghosts, and this is the science fiction rating system. The podcast that aims to rank every science fiction film from 1 to infinity. This is... Oh, hang on. Put me on my stride then.
What's it from? Yeah. What was that from?
That's from Lost in Space. Do you remember?
I think
that's
he said the smell of ghosts.
Yeah,
did
he does. They go when they first go to that ship.
Altman?
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, it's all like mustard." He's like, "That's the smell of ghosts."
Yeah, of course he is.
Anyway, yes, we're the podcast that aims to rank every science fiction film from 1 to infinity, and I am joined, as ever, by Chris Redding.
Hello.
And Alex Humphrey.
Hello.
And this week we went back to 1998. How did we both find this week?
Good.
Took
Entertaining.
you back to your youth?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely
very much so.
Definitely a diverse bag this week, I would say. So we had Lost in Space, the kiddie fun in inverted commas of Lost in Space.
yeah.
The dark neo-gothic horror of Dark City, and the teen. Who's that? That's Jennifer Connelly just popped up in the chat.
Yeah, that's Chris wading in.
Well, we've got to wait for that one. That's the last film we're going to do. But first of all, we're going for the teen comedy of The Faculty. Before we get into though, have I got to do more introduction stuff? Everyone knows what's going on. We're ranking 3 films, added them to a list. We've got 69 films there already. Here come 3 more. This week, we picked one each, didn't we? Didn't we?
Yeah, yes. Faculty was my one.
Okay, Alex, Faculty. You can go first.
Well, thank you. Like I say, I saw it a long time ago, and then I saw it recently, a year ago or something, when they re-released it on Blu-ray. And watching it again, I think it's a good film. It's a solid film.
Yeah.
It's an entertaining film. It's not an original film. I mean, the only really original, because I think the story is written by 2 people who then the Weinsteins. The Weinsteins then got Kevin Williamson in to then rewrite the script, and I think it is that Kevin Williamson-ness of the script that kind of elevates it a bit. It's that kind of scream, self-referentialism, and the kind of, admitting that we're in a world where science fiction exists and where films exist and all that stuff, which works fine in this, and it gives it that little twist. I mean, I think the cast is superb. You've got a lot of really good actors in quite minor roles. And I think they're all really, really good, especially Robert Patrick is brilliant. Without him, I don't think it would be.
Lilith or Fraser, fantastic.
Yeah, Babe Newirth or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just all, everyone is really well cast. And I think, like I say, it's not the best film in the world. I think it's a solid film. I think what works for me in it was the clever idea of that they're all cliches, but they're all a bit more complicated than that. And in that scene that is very reminiscent of The Thing, where they're all doubting each other, like, I think it's you, I think it's you.
Yeah.
The reasoning they give is because, like they say to the jock, oh, well, why are you trying to quit the football team? Like, that's weird. Why are you acting so oddly? And it's kind of quite funny how the things, they're kind of their ultimate, like, actual humanity, the things that, is more real about them, is what kind of trips each person up to thinking, oh, they might be an alien because they're acting a bit oddly. And I quite like that. I think it's a valid twist on a very, very old story.
I absolutely loved it, weirdly. Like, a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought, oh yeah, it was alright at the time. But something about it just seemed to... I think it is the Kevin Williamson script, and I think it is that is dated now in a way that is nostalgic. To look, because you can't get away with that sort of ironic look at stuff anymore, because it's been done so much.
No.
And it feels like being a teenager again, and it's just they don't pull the punches on the gore, and they treat kids as like real kids, as you would in a script from the guy who wrote Scream. And as you say, like, they all know what they're doing, don't they? I think, like, you've got Jon Stewart as well, Piper Laurie, Babe Newirth, as you said, all these people who are, clearly enjoying being aliens, aren't they? Playing up to it really well. And then people like Usher, weirdly, doing really well. Salma Hayek, it's such a weird cast, isn't it?
It's a very weird cast.
What's the name out of Fast and Furious, isn't she? Who appears to have not aged.
That was her first. Jordana Brewster.
Jordana Brewster.
That was one. I think that's one of her first roles.
Just an incredible cast, and just I mean, also the old guy, the drunk. I don't know what his name is. A classic character actor, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. The
what his name is.
Their teacher. Yeah,
Yes.
their main teacher.
Yeah. It's just, just entertaining wall to wall. Again, I wouldn't say it's a classic, but I can't really, for what it's aiming to do is make like a silly, schlocky horror film. It does it perfectly for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chris, what do you think of Faculty?
Yeah, I thought I was entertained. I was watching it all the way through. I was pretty much on board. Mm-hmm. I actually like all that referential, like pop culture stuff that you get, like with these. That's why I've always liked Kevin Smith movies. Mm. I like the gore. Oh, and the creature at the end was good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, was it?
Yeah, and how it like then things went into Elijah Wood's face. That was quite cool.
Yeah. That ending was good.
They just dropped out.
They did, yeah. The way that ending kept ratcheting up, where like everyone kept getting turned, didn't they? That was nice.
Yeah.
You know, you think, oh, we're down to the last 3. No, it's 2. No, now it's 1.
Yeah.
That
like
shot.
Sorry.
I was saying that shot where she's walking through the locker room and it's her naked, but the kind of tentacle shadows.
Yeah.
I think that's a really beautiful shot. Like, I think that's
That's cool.
Whereas someone else would have just had the monster or like gone all out on effects. I do think he tries to pull it back a bit because the effects are a bit dated, and he does pull it back to try and make it look better, I think.
Yeah.
I do like a teen movie as well.
You said that before.
Yeah.
With Starship Troopers.
Yeah. No, it's good. Another bit about that bit at the end, the other effect in the water. That's really good, isn't it? When she's swimming through the water and you see the shadow going. That was really good.
Yeah.
It did remind me a lot of the Thing, though. Very much the same sort of thing, isn't it?
Well, it's got a bit of everything. It's a bit of the Thing. It's a bit of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You know, it's got it's pulling from all over, isn't it? But it's very aware of what it's pulling. And also, like, that thing of making it in a self-referential high school was still quite new there, wasn't it? Because really, Scream had come out, hadn't it? But that's not that. They're older than that in that, isn't it? And it's, like, I think there's a lot of films after Faculty that do that same sort of, you know, very knowing...
Yeah.
Yeah, loads of stuff like that. It's like, what's that TV series? With... oh God, with Seth Rogen and all that lot in Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, yeah.
The Freaks and Geeks. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? Which was still like quite new then to like be, you know, show kids as they are kids. I think you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
So it's.
I think that big speech Elijah Wood does about, you know, like it's science fiction and everyone always gets hung up on the fiction bit, but what about the science? And I think it's a good little, you know, it's a good little concept that, you know, all these people.
Oh yeah, the idea.
You know, you write what you know. Like all these people, like Robert Heinlein and all that, had these experiences and were just writing it down to prepare us for what was going to come. I think it's very Kevin Williamson, but it was that little bit between him and the faux lesbian, who is in fact she is gay, isn't she, in real life? So that's a bit weird.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that works really well. That whole bit, that's very him.
Her character actually, that Clea Duvall, who plays what the lesbian's called. I mean, she's the best character in it, really, in that sense of... Because she keeps calling out, doesn't she, all the reasons, you know, oh, you've seen this, you've seen that, like that. And I think it's good giving it to that character, like making the character who you would least relate to be your actual surrogate as the audience.
Yeah.
It's a clever way of doing it, I think, because it's sort of... Because it's probably, you know, like a goth lesbian high school girl. I can't relate to that, but I can because she understands what's going on, and it's a really clever way of doing it. I think knowing your audience, isn't it, in a way? So
this was by far the least sexist film we watched this week.
Massively,
unlike Lost in Space.
Yes, we'll get to that.
I think things like Stranger Things and that are like obviously on a completely different level now, like as far as this sort of thing. But this is probably an early example of what that is. That sort of teen. As you say, it's really nostalgic. I love that 90s sort of feel to it all.
Yeah,
Mm.
and seeing all these young guys like Elijah Wood and all that is wicked.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's good as well because a lot of those sort of films I've got no connection to, like things like Shameless and stuff like that. I can't really enjoy. And to be honest, I've only seen this probably twice in my whole life. But this felt like nostalgia for things that I understood in a way, which a lot of films from that era don't. Other than the soundtrack, which I hated.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack.
But I've got to out Lucy here, my girlfriend Lucy, who basically knew every track on that soundtrack. She listened to it constantly as a child and was saying, "Oh yeah, this is the Sean Mullins cover of Another Brick in the Wall and all sorts of stuff." She knew it inside out. So.
Okay.
Oh dear.
That's a mark against her. Yeah.
It is. It was bad. Yeah, kind of 90s grunge. Yeah, it was. It was not a good soundtrack.
Rough. Yeah, rough.
No.
I think overall this week, terrible music in all three of these films. To be honest.
How dare you?
For the end credits of Lost in Space.
Exactly. Hell yeah, of course. One of the best.
Sorry.
Yeah, one of the best themes. Oh my god.
Yes, I've forgotten that. That redeems it slightly. But 1998, not a good time for music. Talking of Weinstein sex pests, did you spot the other sex pest in this film?
Oh, was it Harry Knowles?
Harry Knowles, yeah. Who was best buds with Robert Rodriguez and clearly had got no acting talent, because you just see his back, don't you? And then he walks across the staff room at one point.
No, it's obviously just a little kind of weird cameo to get a better review or to get him on the website.
Well, I guess. The impression I got was that they tried to give him a speaking role, because those shots in the staff room, everyone else is talking, and they just couldn't get a performance out of him.
Maybe, he's very recognisable. Yeah,
or maybe he wasn't like a member of SAG or something.
He wasn't allowed to talk.
Oh, possibly, yeah.
That's normally what it is. You see that strange sort of things on like 90s TV shows like Frasier and Star Trek. Like strange things happen, and then when you look into it, it's because of union stuff.
That is my absolute number one favourite thing to do now, like Frasier and stuff like that, because I've seen it so many times, and Star Trek. I'm literally just watching the extras, because I like just seeing things where clearly someone would say something but they're not allowed to talk, so they're they'll hand something over and nod or something like that, or be pointing and pretending to talk. I love it, brilliant.
Have you listened to the podcast, the Kevin Smith podcast of Frasier?
No,
they're going through all the episodes of Frasier.
Oh no, I've heard that. No,
that's good.
I'll have to check that out.
It's called Talk Salad and Scrambled Eggs.
All right. Yeah. I don't like Kevin Smith though.
Yeah, he does it with the guy who does the Next Generation podcast, Matt Myra.
Yeah. Oh right, I might listen to that. Cool.
They it's taken them. They literally only do like one episode every year or something, because he's obviously really busy. So.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's anything else to say about that? Not really.
No. It's good fun. It doesn't try and be anything it isn't, does it? Really,
it's good to go back to the 90s.
Definitely, yeah. A nice introduction to 1998. So, where are we going to rank this? Alex, you can go first.
It's hard because it is entertaining, but it isn't very original.
Well, not even that. I think
original now, right? Because we've seen so much of the stuff.
But I don't think it. No, I mean it's borrowing on purpose, isn't it? The thing that's hard to rank for me about it is that as I couldn't really think of much you could do to make that film any better. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that it's a top 10 or even probably 20 film on this list. But it's weird, because how would you? That film could never be top, could it?
No.
I'm saying the second Alien vs Predator film.
Yes.
In the school, yeah.
It's
better than that.
Yeah, I know, but they've obviously nicked a lot from that. I mean, that nicked a lot from this.
Yes, yeah.
That nicked a lot from Sam's idea for an Alien versus Predator film. But
totally did. Yeah.
We can get to that on the Alien versus Predator week.
Yeah. Bastards.
I'm saying. Oh, well, there you go. I'm saying, how about 34? Above
so that
Surrogates.
Is above Surrogates, below episode 1? No, I think above episode 1. It's a better film than episode 1.
Okay. It's better than episode 1. It's maybe not better than Star Trek. Oh, is it better than Star Trek the Motion Picture? Maybe. It's not better than Andromeda Strain, because that was more original.
No, for me, I'm thinking this is sort of Lost World, Batches Not Included territory. As sort of like films that are...
It's not better than Independence.
So like 20...
So forget that. Literally forget that.
All right, what about one below Independence
I think Alex has got it in the right sort of region, actually.
30 under Andromeda Strain, then maybe like 33.
No, about under Paprika, because it's better than Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Like that's an all right romp, but this was great fun.
All right. Yeah, I'm all right with 31.
Like, which film are you going to go back to sooner? Rise of Planet of the
Yeah, I
Apes or
would.
Faculty?
I would watch this again.
Okay.
Cool.
31.
31. I'll settle with that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Robert Rodriguez enters the charts with his first film. Probably the highest he'll get, because we won't do From Dusk Till Dawn because that's horror, and his Predator film was bloody awful.
Oh, is that
Predators? Yeah.
Oh, I don't mind that. But anyway, yeah, okay. No, we can't do Spy Kids. He hasn't really made science fiction, has he?
No.
Does Planet Terror count?
I don't know. We'll have this conversation off air, I suppose. Everyone was like thinking, oh yeah, nice. Right, let's have a break and return with a drastic dip in quality as we head to space.
Don't spoil the reviews.
Yes, okay. Okay, so we'll be back in a second. And we're back with Lost in Space. I'd just like to start by saying it took me 4 attempts to watch this film.
Yeah.
And not to tie my flag to the mast too early, but I think this is not only the worst film on this list, but I think this is the worst film I've ever seen in my entire life. I cannot think of anything that has offended me as much as this film has.
Wow.
On every single level. But I'll leave that. I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
We've
Chris,
seen some real gash.
we have, but Chris,
It should be Chris first, because he picked it.
I just had to get that out there because I've been on my chest all week trying to get that out. Chris, what did you think of Lost in Space after all these years?
I remember seeing this when we were
14, 13, 14, 13,
the cinema.
Yeah.
I think you wanted to leave during that. I remember you
I was not a
protesting
fan.
in some way.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, no, just watch it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't judge something. But
Very true, Chris. You can't judge it if you haven't watched all of it, because anything could happen.
and then
True.
I remember not being totally anti it, in the years after. And then I saw it last week, and it was very painful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of anything right with it, because normally with science fiction, especially spacey science fiction, there's something I can take out of it.
That's true,
There's
yeah,
always something. It might only be the design of the spaceship.
Yeah.
Or just something which I like.
Yeah.
And there's nothing.
No.
The production design is gash.
Yeah.
The performances are gash.
Script is abysmal.
The script is weird.
The script is really weird.
There's a lot of weird affected voices.
Yeah.
People talking in strange ways.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
The CG is terrible.
Yeah.
The
That's
the
dated
world-
really badly.
The world, I don't understand why the world is like it is. They try and explain it like the world's knackered or something.
It was a huge. It's like the biggest conspiracy of It's one of the top big conspiracies of all the films we've watched. They've every child on the planet. Joey says every child on the planet knows that because of recycling we're fine and we're going to live forever. And then the next line is no, we've been lying to you for years. The planet's got 20 years. We're all going to die, and that's why we have to go on this mission. So that's a global conspiracy that is lying to everyone from children all the way to seniors. That's a big conspiracy.
So I get say for instance, all the Western they don't really explain it in this way, but say all the developed countries are working together to build this Stargate, right?
Yeah.
In orbit.
Yeah.
Right? And then someone just casually throws in, there's these terrorists who are trying to blow it up.
Yeah.
And they're building their own.
Yeah.
So what is that on the other side of the planet?
But the terrorists are ridiculous because they know the truth, which is that everyone is being lied to from this global government. But rather than just say, "Hey, everyone, you're all being lied to. Here's the
obviously
reality."
Obviously, they haven't got social media in this world.
Well,
Apart from Penny, like a video diary. They've kind of touch on things, don't they?
But also, how is the solution to this problem to send a family through anyway? What's the, And
it doesn't make any sense, right? So they need a gate, otherwise it's random where you come out.
Yeah.
Right? So they're going to fly to this planet in, like, conventional drives. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
And then when they get there, they're going to build another gate.
Yeah.
So at one end, it takes a whole planet to build the resources needed for a gate. On the other end, one family and a ship.
Yeah.
Can build the whole gate again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very heavily ripped off Stargate.
And somewhere else, there's a terrorist building their own gate.
Yeah. There's no sense to it. And why did they need to put that in? I mean, surely as long as it's a family that get lost in space, there isn't really much more plot-wise that you need.
Well, obviously they needed some sort of reason, but it's a crap reason.
What was the plot of the original TV series? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
No.
I think that was just more of a case of they were just lost in space.
Yeah. Literally just lost.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing of the spiders and all that.
The spiders are terrible. Before the spiders, though, you get to the plant monkey thing, which
forgot about that.
Is some of the worst CGI of anything ever. And all the reactions to him are like slightly out of time, and they didn't really cut it very well.
Pre-Jar Jar Binks territory.
Yeah, totally.
I think they're just trying to make that Penny character likeable because she's one of the oddest characters I've ever seen.
She's like a 35-year-old woman who they just cut the legs off.
Yeah. Her head is like the head. Yeah, it's like an old woman, like a middle-aged woman's head.
So strange.
The way she talks is really odd. They've kind of hypersexualized her in a really weird way.
Really, really weird way.
Like they're all wearing those weird bodysuits that just accentuate everyone's boobs for some reason.
Yep.
Even the men. And it's like, they're a fan. She's a really weird character. I don't get where they're going with that at all.
It's like, especially like in the climate of like how hashtag Me Too Hollywood now. The idea of this like 13-year-old girl going around saying that things she misses from Earth is kissing, whilst wearing her weird like Madonna cone suit, and falling in love with Matt LeBlanc. Yeah,
exactly. There's a very obvious line where she's all like, like about Joey. That's a really uncomfortable character. I don't know what's going on with her.
She's got quite a big career in straight-to-TV movies by the looks of it. She's doing 4 or 5 a year.
Yeah, very strange looking. I mean, but even worse than her, Will Robinson. Quite possibly the most annoying character in the history of film. Everything about him. The only redeeming feature was when he took over holographic control of the robot and he squatted as though he was shitting. And I'd love to see the pre-effect shot of that. Him just like there squatted. Okay, do a poo. Yeah,
pincer hands, pincer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really shit. That bit. Like, surely no child watched that and went, "Oh yeah, I'd like to do that." Like, it doesn't look cool, does it? It just looks stupid. Yeah.
There's like bits in it where you can tell they've tried to make LeBlanc be really cool.
Yeah.
Like the bit where he's like putting his gun together and then his like armour comes over his head and he's got like that line, which is, I don't know what it is. But
I quite like that mask effect. Sorry.
Yeah, but there was quite a lot of that effect, when they're going into the sleep chamber. That sort of...
Oh, also, let's not forget the sleep chamber where he basically commits sexual assault on Heather Graham, who, let's not forget again, is the daughter, one of the ones there, by going, "Oh, can I come in that pod or whatever?" And and then he tries to fuck her on the thing, the edge of the thing. Like, calm down, dude.
Did you know that Heather Graham was dating director Stephen Hopkins during the filming?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's better or worse. I mean, the character's terrible, isn't it?
It's like the real Bowfinger.
You haven't mentioned the terrible torpedoes that then make Looney Tunes characters, which basically the whole way they're saved is by a Daffy Duck being lit up in the air.
Yep.
For some reason, I don't know why. Was it even a Warner Brothers film? I guess it must be.
I don't know.
Sorry, what are you talking about?
Because when they do the constellations of Porky Pig and Bugs Bunny, and then her way of signalling is by putting Daffy Duck in the sky.
Yeah.
But was it a Warner Brothers film? Why are you referencing that?
Yeah, I don't know what the obsession with that was. I don't know whether like was it something to do with the old show was shown next to the cartoon? It could have been that
they own the rights, and that was like they had to have like advertising included in the script to pay for the rights.
It was New Line. New Line did it. New Line aren't Warner Brothers, are they?
That's really weird.
Yeah.
And I did recognise. I know, Chris, you said about the actor that plays the old man Will. Yeah. I did recognise him. He's obviously overdubbed in this for some reason, isn't he?
They all are.
Yeah. But his character, and it isn't his fault. I agree, he is a good actor. I don't think it's to do with him. But the way during those scenes he just keeps going, "Oh, I remember the screams of the women," and then he says the girls. But that's his mum and his two sisters. Why does he call them? It's a really weird. Like the way he says it is really odd. Like
I don't know if you were older, with talking about the past.
The death of your mum and your two sisters. Would you say the women? Would you call them the women?
Yeah.
Would you call them the girls?
No, I think you'd call them mum and whatever the sister's name was, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Especially when you're talking to your own dad, who knows who they are.
We're overanalyzing a script which doesn't really
Well, let's get back on track with Gary Oldman in his worst performance. Here's a quote from him to go with that, to smell of ghosts. First yellow aliens, now giant spiders. Brilliant. Fantastic. I mean,
can we let him off a bit because he is doing a version of that character was like that, weren't they?
Yeah, but he's still awful. He's still absolutely dreadful. And I think it's the script's fault. A lot of it's the script's fault, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I mean, for like making this whole thing of like he's so blatantly evil, and there's a bit like where he's going like, it's the drip, drip, drip of blood. Yeah. And Matt LeBlanc's like, dude, you got to shut up, dude. Oh God, this is the worst. It's so terrible.
Yeah. Did you read about how like they wanted to get all the original actors back in?
Yes.
And they got most of them, but the guy that was Dr. Smith, did you read what he said?
No.
They wanted to get the original Dr. Smith back in, and they said to get on they would just have a cameo. And in an interview for TV Guide, he says, "I will have you know, I have never done a walk-in or a bit part in my life, and I do not intend to start now." And he basically says, either I play Dr. Smith or I do not play. Basically.
Fantastic.
So he was basically, unless it's him in it as the character, I'm not even going to be in it. So, that's pretty funny.
Did you notice Gary Oldman...
It's a hard line to take, but it worked out for the better.
He was right all along, yeah. God, he was right.
Did you notice Gary Oldman's double credits?
Yeah, for Spider
Smith, as well as Dr. Smith.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
What do you think? I think he got paid twice for doing two roles, Spider Smith and...
Maybe. But also, this film was number one in the box office.
There was nothing else on.
Well, this is the thing. Despite opening on April the 3rd, it was the first new film of 1998 to open at number one because of the 15-week reign of Titanic. And so basically, it was the film that took Titanic off, and people named it the Iceberg because of that. However, all principal actors were contracted to a 3-picture option, but as the film failed to recoup its budget in North America, plans for the franchise were scrapped. So it's not really... It didn't work, basically, did it?
It doesn't work on any level at all. And like the soundtrack for it, I know, we love Apollo 440.
Rock and roll. Showtime.
Hell yeah. The credits are the best. Those weird tricky credits are amazing, where you feel like you've, I don't know. I think those credits wipe your brain of what happened in the film. I can't really remember the film anymore. I think it's some kind of hypnosis.
It was kind of that era, though, where there was shitloads of trash, it was that where presentation was starting to overtake...
Yeah.
Attitude. The Attitude era.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
It was very skateboardy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the ending, I actually wrote it down, but so there's the triple, because you said, as you correctly said, Sam, this is supposed to be like a kid's family film.
Yeah.
But in the end, the first thing is that, first old man Will goes on about the girls and the women dying, but then Spider Smith is eaten by his own children that come out of his stomach and then eat him alive. Mm-hmm. Then the dad has to watch his entire family explode and die, and then he goes through the time loop, and then he has to watch... Not only does he have to watch his future son die, but the boy has to watch his future self die. Yeah. It's a pretty fucked up ending, really, is it, of a family film?
Even before that, I thought when they come out of when the robot sabotages it and Heather Graham's almost dead, and they're like holding the gun to Gary Oldman's head and stuff like that. Even that, I thought the tone has gone wildly off course already here. This is not a kids' film anymore.
No, well, like all this, like you said, all the sex stuff between Heather Graham and Joey. Yeah. It's not. Joey. Yeah, who the hell is this? Yeah, who's this film for? Like, no, it's very confused.
It's difficult because it was that period of time when science fiction wasn't mainstream.
You say that, but like this is the year after like Lost World and stuff, isn't it? You know.
And they put a heck of a lot of money into
it. You can't.
The year after Starship Troopers, things are coming out that are effective and good.
I wouldn't call Starship Troopers mainstream, and Jurassic Park was an anomaly.
Fifth Element's the year before.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still.
You're making excuses for a film that doesn't deserve them.
But they were betting big. They, three film franchise deal. There's a lot of money. I mean, I know it looks shit, but there's obviously a lot of money. There's a hell of a lot of sets, aren't there, and effects and stuff. That's
why for me it has to go bottom of the list, because it is such a massive endeavour, and you can see every shot is bleeding money, and yet every single from the script, to the acting, to the effects. Everything is completely terrible. I mean, we've not even really mentioned Matt LeBlanc, who is like this, like sucking more of anti-charisma at the centre of the film, where it's hard to believe he's even an actor. He's absolutely terrible. He's so miscast. He's just like doing this sort of like weird screwed up. Do you remember what's that game? Max Payne. Do you remember Max Payne?
Yeah.
And all the way through the game, he's got that face where he's like looks a bit
he looks ill in a lot of.
He does look. You're right. Yeah, he does actually. Yeah.
He looks like
his eyes. He's got massive bags under his eyes.
I paused it and I went, "Is he just thrown up?"
Yeah.
No, look at he's read a bit of the script and thrown up.
There's like scenes where he's white as a sheet.
Yeah,
his eyes are sunken into his head and red.
I love the idea of him just vomiting and then going and doing a scene. Like, God!
See whether he actually did have like norovirus while they shot it or something when they shot it.
There was something
like,
yeah. It's not as offensive as Lawnmower Man, though, is it? Come on now.
I would genuinely watch Lawnmower Man before I watch this film again.
Oh, God.
Oh.
It's just because Lawnmower Man, right? Okay, Lawnmower Man's bad, but Lawnmower Man is not built on the scale of Lost in Space.
So bad that they can't even repeat it on the TV.
Exactly. I mean, there's something ethically wrong with Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. I mean, all right, it's sexist, this film, but there's not. I mean, Lawnmower Man is. Yeah, I agree with Chris. They can't ever show Lawnmower Man again. Like, I don't think everyone. Like. Is it worse than Scanner Darkly? Well, yeah, I mean, they're so pretentious.
They can't show Lawnmower Man again, but they won't show Lost in Space again.
That's true.
That's the difference. It's got to be bottom 3, hasn't it? I mean, Transformers is terrible, but I think Transformers at least delivered in a way on the effects.
If there was a gun to my head, I would watch Transformers.
Yeah, me too.
But I'd probably take the bullet before watching this again.
Yeah. The problem for me is that Transformers ruined something I love, whereas I didn't love Lost in Space, so it didn't really bother me. I mean, it is really bad. It's really
I'd put it above Scanner Darkly, I don't know.
I think Scanner Darkly is a better film than this, because again,
it was so annoying.
It was very, very annoying.
Makes
definitely
me sick to watch Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, no, that is true. It was pretty terrible.
And I'll tell you what, just
because of the theme tune at the end, I would put it above Scanner Darkly.
All right, I can go that then. You've talked me into it. So, Lost in Space entering at 69. Appropriate. Make a joke about 69ing Matt LeBlanc, small girl. That's going to happen, no doubt.
It's a true space film. It was utterly devoid of atmosphere.
Nice.
Very good.
Nice. Stephen Hopkins, who
made good films.
Yeah, Predator 2, obviously a lot.
Judgment Night's quite good. You ever seen that?
I haven't. Good. No.
It's good. It's a bit weird, but it's good. Very good soundtrack. Unlike, like you say, one good song on this soundtrack. That's it.
So Lost in Space enters at 69, and I mean, at least I'm going to watch that now. We've seen it, haven't we? So that's.
I wonder what the ideas for the sequels were.
Oh, I can tell you. I can tell you, Chris.
Okay.
Right. According to the screenwriter, if this movie did receive a sequel, it would have been about the Robinson family making it to Alpha Prime. However, they discover that Alpha Prime is already populated with humans because they previously went through a wormhole in the first movie that sent them to the future. There would also have been a subplot with Judy Robinson creating a cure for Dr. Smith to prevent the spider infection from turning him into Spider-Smith, and Penny ending up receiving the same colour-changing abilities as Blarp has. What? Wow.
I'm sorry, who?
Blarp, the alien, is called Blarp.
Oh, right, Blarp.
Yeah, so she'd be able to colour change.
The monkey?
The monkey can change colours.
He's called Blarp?
Blarp, yeah, and she'd get those powers.
Right.
I mean, don't you just want to see that? Probably so she could seduce some human men.
I can say, to be honest, I never want to see that actress at that age again because it was disturbing.
Yeah.
If someone told me that she'd really actually gone through the events of that film and lived them, going through back in time and stuff like that, I'd believe them. You know.
Yeah. Lacey Chabert. That's her name.
Is she still around?
I've just
She was in Mean Girls.
She's blossomed a bit, I'll have to say.
But I bet she's still... Yeah, she does. She just looks like she did when she was 13 because...
Yeah. But actually,
an adult. Legal. Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, okay, Chris, let's cut this off.
Yeah, let's go before you leave this realm.
No, I mean, her behaviour would not be out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Right, one more break and we'll return with our third and final film, Dark City. Back with our third and final film of the day, Dark City, from Alex Priss, which was my choice. Have you both seen... Chris, you'd not seen this, had you?
No, I'd not seen this before.
Yeah, I had.
So I used to watch this film an awful lot. I think I mentioned last time. I loved it. I was still into it, but it wasn't anywhere near as good as my memory of it, which was a shame. I still enjoyed it, but I forgot how annoying Kiefer Sutherland was, and he's funny. His voice.
I didn't mind
his
him.
vocal tick. But still, I think it opens really strongly. The idea is, I love the idea that this guy's lost his memory, and that they introduce Richard O'Brien and his creepy crew straight away, and straight away you know this isn't just a normal amnesia sort of film. There is some fucked up stuff going on. And it keeps that tone all out, and it's got a sort of a feel. It feels like a Neil Gaiman graphic novel or something. The kind of look that you don't get on cinema screens very often. You know, that kind of claustrophobic, dark, obviously, very dark look. And that still worked for me. And it moves along at a wonderfully fast clip. I mean, really, I still really enjoyed it. But just in my mind, this is like one of the greatest films of all time, but it isn't that on reflection. And the music was completely awful.
Did you like Brazil? When you were,
I saw that later than this, but yeah, I love Brazil. Yeah, you're right. It's very Brazil-like, and 1984. It's got like elements of that. And you know what's weird about it as well? I kept writing in my notes that this is come out the year before The Matrix, and how Matrixy is this story?
Well, yeah,
I was thinking that.
Yeah, like even like the phone calls and stuff, like him going, you got to get out and stuff like that.
It's all green. It's shot in the same, light.
Pieces of the set, including those used for the rooftop chase, were sold to the production of The Matrix at the end of the shooting.
Oh wow, that makes a lot of sense.
So yeah. I mean, a lot of films owe a lot to this film.
Yeah,
you know, like we've said about other stuff we've talked about. Although they are referencing stuff, they then became the thing that everyone referenced, and I think.
So what is this? This is a year before The Matrix, was it?
Yeah, a year before. Yeah,
and I bet The Matrix probably would have took twice as long to make. So actually, they're at the same time.
I think that he wrote this film years before, didn't he? This film was in. This is like this guy's like passion.
I'm just
project.
thinking about the makers of The Matrix having watched this.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think it's. They're not ripping anybody off. I think it's.
No. I'm just thinking. Like,
also, it's got massive shades of the Truman Show, hasn't it? About it, like it's clear like a late '90s that sort of slipsism as a concept. And actually, you know whose fault this is? Actually, it's Ghost in the Shell, isn't it? That's where all this comes from. It's that these filmmakers watched Ghost in the Shell in the early 90s and thought, let's bring that over to that concept into Western cinema. But yeah, so no, I don't want to be down on it because I did still really enjoy it. I still love the ending that he gets out, and And I love the set design, which O'Brien's
becomes God.
Yeah, and it's such a, and I love that it's just willing to go those stupid, like when they're changing the world round. It isn't just the rearranging people; it's just that everything's fucking morphing and stuff. You know, it's so over the top and Anyway,
yeah, I think that's what elevates it for me. I do think it looked a bit dated. It wasn't as good as I remembered, but like you say, I think it rips along really well. It just gets going. It doesn't spend ages trying to explain everything. In fact, it's not really explained till quite late on. Really what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that it's an ideas film, and I think that you can't take that away from it. That there were some really interesting ideas, and I like the central concept that they're aliens, they're a collective, they're basically looking at humans to try and find a soul or something. And I like that, and the way they I love that scene when they have the two poor people moaning about their day and their job, and then they turn them into basically like millionaires. And it's like the idea of just like fucking with people and just like rats in a maze. Like, well, if they're rich, will that make them better people? Or well, if like you know, ultimately Rufus Sewell is like, if he's a murderer, well, what does that mean? Does that make him a better person, a worse person? Like, I like all that, and I think the little kind of, it's a bit it's over the top, that bit at the end when Kiefer Sutherland's popping up for all his memories, teaching him how to do his. Teaching how to use his powers, but I do think it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, that bit anyway. No, and I just think it really works. I think Richard O'Brien's good. I'd have to say that watching this and Lost in Space, I don't think William Hurt is a very good actor.
He's terrible, I
think this has made me realise that he's actually... I would have, before these two films, I said, oh yeah, he's alright.
Do you know what they wanted him to play Kiefer Sutherland's part?
Oh, well, that would have been way worse.
Yeah, so I'm glad that he didn't, because imagine he'd have killed that, wouldn't he? He'd have murdered that one.
But no, I think the cast are all good. Everyone's Rufus Sewell is quite a
I like Rufus Sewell.
Yeah, and he's a bit of a risk as a leading man. Totally, I think that's quite brave that they use him.
I don't think he suits an American accent.
No.
I think they're clever the way they kind of set the world up around him, the film around him, in that he's reacting to things. He's not carrying it really, is he? He is us wandering through the world, isn't he? I mean, that's a really good choice, because I think he hasn't got the presence at all to actually carry it as a I'm doing this and I'm doing this sort of thing, you know.
No.
Also, a brilliant turn from the guy out of House of Cards as well as the old.
The uncle, whatever.
Yeah, the main alien dude.
Mr. Book. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Book.
Who was in House of Cards?
He's the guy, not the original BBC one.
Oh, yeah.
He's the main guy in that, basically.
Sorry, I was thinking Kevin Spacey.
No, he's Kevin Spacey's role in the original BBC series.
Yeah, I get it now. Yeah.
So, Chris, what did you think of Dark City?
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, I always used to love Brazil, so I like that. I like that look, and I like the, you know, how it sinks into the city, and you see all like the different levels of the city.
The mechanical side of it and stuff.
Yeah. I like the darkness of it. Again, it's like all the same colour palette as The Matrix, but I think The Matrix tells it better in the sense of, I think this, as you say, this goes along so quickly and there's a lot to see. I don't know, I kind of like it stripped back a little bit in The Matrix, and
the problem with The Matrix,
and also there's no humour like in Brazil, like the sort of the irony in Brazil is great. So it's a shame because I'm comparing them to them two films, but I've literally just seen this one. So
you know, the look of it though, being like The Matrix, I think this will have aged a lot better than The Matrix, won't it? Because The Matrix has got that whole 90s leather thing and you know, frameless glasses and stuff like that. I think the look. I think, because I've not seen The Matrix in absolutely years, but I very much when we watch that, it will look a lot more dated than this will, won't it?
And The Matrix is so obsessed with trying to look cool all the time, whereas this isn't really trying to look cool. It's, you know, like... And I think the beginning of this, it does try and trick you into, you know, what kind of film is this? Is this a kind of neo-noir? Like, or is it like a detective? Is it a kind of serial killer thing? For 20 minutes, there isn't any real... Not really any really weirdness, but then kind of 20 minutes in, you get like a lot of weird stuff happens. And you're like, oh no, hold on, this obviously isn't a straight film.
Yeah, that's why
he's doing that.
But I think it's the reverse, though. That's why I like to start, because I think that you've got William Hurt playing a futuristic noir detective story, and then you've got Rufus Sewell in this sort of amnesia based weird thing, and then on top of that, you've got the alien thing as well. And I think that first scene when he wakes up in the bath, the fact that pretty much instantly you see Richard O'Brien and his weird guys turn up, that it's subverted, that you're clued in straight away that this isn't what it seems like. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I guess.
And I think that's why I like that, because then when William Hurt does turn up and he's just playing it straight as a detective, you already know, no, this is something way beyond what you think it is.
Yeah,
and it's a really brave and sort of like a really confident way of doing that, because the easy thing would be to start with William Hurt investigating the murder, and then do it that way around. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's good that they do it that way.
Yeah. I like the kind of crazy other detective that used to have the case that's gone mad. He's quite good as well.
Yeah, great set design on his house. Yeah,
there's some really good sets and locations and setups. Like, there's some really interesting stuff. It was, as I say, there's a lot of things to think about in it, and that's all positive.
Also, I'd love to think how he got to the guy who wrote it, this Alex Proyas. You're thinking he's writing a story about, the idea of a soul and consciousness and all that stuff in a collective, and how he gets from that point to making this the story he puts that in. It's nuts, isn't it? Like, I'd love to know how he wrote it. How he came to this idea.
Well, I know one piece of how he came to write it. He got the idea for the buildings changing and growing while the crew was moving pieces of set around during the filming of The Crow. So the idea of the people moving the sets around,
right?
He then had this connection of, I imagine a world where you could just move cities and move things around. I guess that was the origins of... But I think he wrote something, and then David S. Goya kind of came on and wrote a bit of it, and Lem Dobbs, who wrote The Limey, I think it's handled by other people. Do you know what I mean? I think it's his idea, but then other people came on and kind of helped it along, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess off the back of The Crow, he probably could get whatever he wanted. They probably said you can have any project you wanted, but they maybe didn't trust him completely,
Yes. I've just, one more note as well, that, talking about Ghost in the Shell, I think, not sure where I got this one, I think I nicked it off Wikipedia, but the last bit of it is basically, the director has said it's an homage to Akira.
Oh, okay. Oh,
which,
yeah.
The stuff, the things coming out of the ground stuff is, so... He's obviously got Japanese films in his mind.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it wears its... like I said, I think it wears its references proudly. I don't think it's hiding, Metropolis, Maltese Falcon, all that stuff. I think it's very obvious about what it's doing. And that, to me, elevates it. I think that makes it better.
Well, because also you think of, The Faculty is also clearly influenced by a lot of stuff, but in a lot more rote way, whereas this, it doesn't... You wouldn't need to know any of those influences, would you, to get this film, to get a lot of this film, enjoy this film?
No.
No. It's great. It's a great film. Yeah, it's really good. Anything else to add about Dark City?
Inception as well. There's stuff in Inception.
True,
Yeah. And almost, maybe Memento. I don't know. It's maybe it inspired a lot of things. I don't know.
It's, I don't know. There's it's like 12 Monkeys, isn't it? There's like that, that's Terry Gilliam as well, isn't it? It's that kind of like dystopian science fiction thing. I mean, it's very 1984. It even looks a bit like, what's his name at 1984, doesn't he? The guy, I can't remember what he's, the main guy. Yeah. Winston, isn't it? That's his name. Yeah. Anyway, really good.
Where's it going to go?
I would say 15. Above Wall-E and below Dread.
I'd be happy with that. No, I'm happy with that. Someone's not.
Let me guess. It's not as good as Independence Day.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what you've done, but it's...
Well, give me a compelling argument against it, though. What didn't you like about it?
That's probably my main problem with it. I don't really have any strong feelings for it.
Right.
Having seen it. So in the last film like this, I felt like was, like Edge of Tomorrow or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, It's just like that.
Oh, it's a lot
It's
better
more than that, though. It's more original than that. It's good ideas. It looks good. You haven't really seen that before.
Yeah, it's very unique for a film, isn't it?
I just think I had more fun watching all this sort of like, Mars Attacks and T2 and...
I agree it's not fun, but it's not meant to be fun, is it? It is very much devoid of humour, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I like that.
So I put it like towards the 30 sort of mark, but...
Ooh.
I don't know.
What did you say?
I said 15.
15.
I'm going to struggle... It can't go lower than like 20, I don't think. Alex, what do you think? I think look at those films there.
Yeah, looking
Lost
at those,
World and stuff like that. And
yeah, I mean, I don't think. I think it should be higher than those. I mean, it's hard as
Sunshine.
Yeah.
I'd take probably
I think it's better than Mars
17,
Attacks.
probably. Yeah.
What's
17.
Yeah, because Eternal Sunshine, I didn't gel with at all. Yeah, Mars Attacks, and then I started having fun. Then, yeah, so I'd probably say 17 sort of area.
17, right?
Maybe
Okay.
17 question
Yeah.
mark?
I'm all right with 17.
Yeah, okay, I'll take 17 as well. Yeah.
Wally will be up for re-evaluation. Don't worry.
Yeah. So it's essentially 16, isn't it?
Let's say we'll Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 15.
Who directed Alex Price? Right. Okay. Cool. So that is 3 more films in the list. That is Dark City at 17. I've lost The Faculty at 32, and then all the way down at 70. Lost in Space.
We should have a secondary theme tunes.
Yeah.
Well, Lost in Space would be like
Department.
at the top or something. I love that theme tune. So, in fact, during Lost in Space, whenever they said one of the lines, I was like, "Oh yeah!" Like when he does like, "Oh, last one to kill a bad guy buys the beer," or "This Cold War just got hot."
Awful.
That guy's voice is ridiculous. We didn't talk about that.
Who is he?
Yeah, no, who is? I don't know who he is. But he's got a ridiculously deep voice.
It's Lenny James, isn't it?
I don't know. I did look him up.
I'm pretty sure it's Lenny James.
His voice is crazy.
There's that other guy who's like the, he's like the NASA controller guy who had a weird voice as well.
Oh, when they're doing
guy.
Blast Off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wrote that.
Bad.
It's
they're
Lenny
all dubbed.
James. Yeah.
They're all dubbed
Yeah.
to shit, aren't they?
Who's Lenny James, Sam?
He's in Snatch and what else? He's in. Hang on, we look at his list of films. Yeah, Snatch, 24-Hour Party People.
Oh.
You'd know him. He looks a bit like Don Cheadle.
Oh, okay. Does he talk like that though? He doesn't talk like that though, does he?
No,
Doesn't talk like that.
No, he's British. He's British.
Oh, yeah, good.
Because is he not in? No, because Don Cheadle's in Ocean 11, isn't he? And because I saw that and I thought, well, why is Lenny James doing an awful English accent? He's English, but it wasn't him. It was Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
I remember I used to like that fight, that like rip off of a B-wing they're in at the beginning of that film.
Oh,
yeah.
I used to like that, and then I realised it was
Yeah, you
the
know
most
him, don't you,
stupid
Len?
design
Yeah.
ever.
Right, well, there we go. 3 new films. Next week, we're doing something a bit different. We're doing our first sort of trilogy in 1 week. We're making an exception for Star Trek because, of course, we are. It's Star Trek. So yeah, tune next time for the preview week for Star Trek 2 to 4. But yeah, in the meantime,
I'm just looking like if we did do a theme tune little sub competition here.
Battle Beyond the Stars is up
towards
there.
the bottom, which like 'cause you got Lost in Space, you got Thunderbirds.
Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yeah. There's stuff probably
Prometheus,
which,
great music.
near the
Prometheus.
bottom, which has good music.
Yeah, Prometheus.
Yeah.
Even Armageddon. I mean, it's a good it's a good track.
No. Stop it there. Stop it
You do
there.
your own podcast there, Chris.
Yeah.
Right, like us on iTunes, rate us on iTunes, follow
Flash
us.
Gordon.
Yeah, no, that's good. That'd be
Queen.
That'd be tough, yeah.
Yeah.
Not safe, not guaranteed. That fat
Mad
whinger
song.
playing his awful guitar songs. So at least one film will be bottom of both lists, and that is, the cinematic abortion that is safe, not guaranteed. Anyway, let's let's move on to next week. Bye. No, hang on. Rate us on iTunes. 5-star on iTunes. Go doing it. Write us a review.
Send us an email.
Yes. Mail us at sciencefictionratingsystem@gmail.com. Oh, somebody. Hang on. I get my phone. No, I'll do it next week. So I've got to find it. Right. Okay. I'll cut that out. That's the end, I think. Yes. We'll see you in a week's time. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Okay, last one to kill a bad guy buys the beer.